Hi, Mr. Corsey here. You can see here I've got a random selection of dots which have frozen, have been active, and you'll recognise some of these configurations from previous videos. Just a little memory test to see if you can remember their names. So here's the first one. And that's the block. Second one. That's the tub. And number 3, down at the bottom there. Did you remember that one? It was the beehive. Number 4, over on the right there. And that's the boat. And now number 5. There it is. 7 dots. That's the loaf. Number 6 next. You see it over there. Just 3 dots this time. And that's a very common blinker, oscillator, period 2. And then number 7. Another oscillator, the toad, period 2. So these are fairly familiar. Now I'm going to start up this random array of dots and you're going to see something quite incredible. Only 8 seconds it lasts for. See how observant you are. See if you can spot something extraordinary. So here we go. Well, did you notice it? It might have been quite difficult. You could rewind it if you want. But I'm going to set this going again and I'm going to focus in on a certain pattern that appears. And there you can see it. Quite a unique piece of behaviour, and very rare for that to develop out of a random set of dots. But that's a spaceship, very similar to a glider. The glider moves diagonally. This one moves orthogonally. It moves up the way it was orientated. Here's the categories: Still Life, Oscillators, and we had a heading glider. We're now going to change that to Spaceships. And there's the new configuration. Let's turn it sideways and launch it again on this spaceship launch pad and watch as it moves. It's called a middleweight spaceship. You'll see why in a minute. You notice it does come back to its original configuration and it's moved along a bit. There we have it speeded up. and off it goes. So that's the middleweight spaceship. And we have known another spaceship called the glider. It's sometimes called the featherweight spaceship. You can see there's slight similarities. Now there are two others. There's a lightweight spaceship and a heavyweight spaceship. So there's a whole family of 4 spaceships with the familiar glider going all the way up to the heavyweight. So let's just set them off, see how they work. And it does appear that the glider is slightly slower than the other 3, but the other 3 are keeping up with each other. They seem to have the same speed, whatever that means. There we've increased their speed somewhat. And off they go. So there's the family of spaceships. So the glider goes off in a diagonal direction. The other 3 go in what we call an orthogonal direction. What do we mean by the speed? Well, let's take the lightweight spaceship and subject it to the speed test. So what do we need to measure its speed? We'll need a clock and we'll need a starting position. So let's set it going. And there it's returned to its original configuration, 2 squares to the right. And let's now do a calculation to work out its speed. So what distance has it travelled? 2 squares in an orthogonal direction. And what time did it take to do that? 4 ticks of the clock. So what's the familiar speed formula? It's distance divided by time. So in this case it's 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2. But what units are these in? Well, units are in 1 square per tick. And that's called the speed of light. No configuration could ever go faster than that in the game of life, since 1 dot is only dependent on its 8 immediate neighbours. So if you think about it, 1 square per tick would be a theoretical maximum. So anyway, this middleweight spaceship has a speed that's 1/2 the speed of light, a half c. So let's go back to our list, and the lightweight, middleweight and heavyweight spaceships all behave the same. They have the same speed, 1/2 c, 1/2 the speed of light. And let's have a look at the glider this time. Let's subject it to a speed test. So we'll bring back the clock and look at its starting position. And let's set that off. So there it's resumed the same configuration, but it's moved 1 square diagonally. So let's do that calculation to work out its speed, just like we did with the lightweight spaceship. So what distance has it travelled? Well, that's 1 square. And this time it's diagonally, but it's still 1 square. The time it took was 4 ticks of the clock, same as the other 3 spaceships. So its speed, using the familiar formula, distance divided by time, Well, that gives us 1 divided by 4, and that's 1/4 the speed of light. So that's its speed. Certainly slower than the other 3 spaceships. In fact, it's going at half their speed. Their speed was 1/2 c. This speed is 1/4 c. And remember, speed of light is 1 square per tick. Nothing could ever go faster than that. So let's go back to our list and just add these speeds. 1/4 c for the glider, 1/2 c for the other 3 spaceships. Well, that's Mr. Corsi signing out, and I hope you enjoyed the video.